Managing Director of Paragon Trust Company and tax and private client practitioner, joins us to bring a common sense approach to money in a world of total insanity. Let's welcome Tony D'Angelo.
All right, his name is Tony D'Angelo, ladies and gentlemen, and he joins me each and every Tuesday at 7:05, and we always appreciate him. You can follow him on Twitter, Tony D'Angelo 7. It is a must follow. Tony, good morning. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Lee Elci. Good morning, everybody. Proud to be among you.
So you want to poke the bear here in the state of Connecticut, the GOP bear, that is?
Well, we're gonna talk about that, and just we had some interesting developments on this entire situation, which is very typical and very par for the course from what I'm seeing. Everybody will recall last week, if you listened, with respect to our esteemed governor, Ned Lamont, taking $191 million of American Rescue Plan Act money intended for socially and economically disadvantaged businesses and placing that in the state hedge fund run by Connecticut Innovations. So anyway, on Friday, I was kind of shook out of my zombie land by our dear friend Jan, who sent me a copy of a very interesting email from the state GOP, where in the email, they had essentially taken what I had talked about and what I had shown, parts of it pretty much word for word. And I thought, well, that's okay. You know, it's information is information no matter where it is. But when I read the email further, there's a very interesting disclaimer on the bottom of it saying this is not the position of any office holder nor candidate. And I looked at that kind of quizzically. So then I'm asking myself, Lee Elci, why is it that that disclaimer is made? Because this, to me, is an extremely serious issue. And I chewed that around a little bit, and I worked on the show stuff over the weekend. And last night, Ned starts on a firestorm against us, and Ned starts talking about on Twitter how wonderful he is, and did a series of tweets of, if you ever saw The Producers, the Fuhrer is sweet, the Fuhrer is kind, and this is how he's doing things, and he helped here and he helped there. And it was so distorted and so disjointed, and there were actually party people, discussion groups say, how do we answer this guy? I said, I'll show you how you answer him. And I did, and you could go and read it. I'll post that up later. And basically, I took the language from his papal bull, and I put it out there, and I said, this is what he's doing per his own words, draw your own conclusions, people. And, I mean, basically, this guy is a four-flusher con artist trying to spin things, or he has these, minions doing it, or PR firms or whatever. Of course, we're paying for that. And, I began to get very angry as I was going to bed last night, and I said, why is it the same scenario over and over and over again? The faint pushback, then it's like, here it comes, here's Ned, and I'm wonderful, and it's touch and go. And we're in a situation right now in the state, my friend, we don't need touch and go. We need push and shove. Your ball, my friend.
Well, and I'm looking over again. This was the letter, the email that you're referring to. Just to back up for a second, is from Chairman Proto, correct?
That is correct.
All right. So, and he basically laid out everything that you had said earlier on the show, and
parts of it just word for word.
Yeah. I mean, I just want to make sure everybody understands this, and I'm not. This is not patting myself certainly on the back. We have more people listening to the show than we've ever had listen to the show, and that's a great thing. I think it's a testament to folks out there wanting to pay attention to what's going on around them, and hopefully it's sort of a combination of the great guests that we bring on and what we do every single day. But I've said this over and over again. Tony's segment is one of the most important segments that we have because Tony does extensive research into a lot of these different areas. And he never gets the due credit because Hartford either steals it or somebody else grabs it. And I know he's not looking for it, but I like to take the opportunity and give it to him because I know he does exhaustive work in trying to sort of ferret out some of this stuff. And it does bother me. I've actually, gone out of my way when I either hear things that were said here on this show in the morning and then they're parroted on a Hartford station, almost word for word later on. I'll pick up the phone and go, if you're going to talk about that, you're going to have to, I don't care if you name me, But name Tony. Name somebody who actually I had on that day that was talking about that. So anyway, I just want folks to understand.
Well, thank you. And it's like if you look at this globally, and I thank you very much for that. Lee Elci, if we didn't do what we did here, you providing the opportunity for this discussion, for this analysis, this entire state would have been clueless and benign, and it would have been, the Malloy administration, Chapter 37, the sequel. But, we've done more here to root out corruption on this show than, the entire government, the entire legislature. I mean, that's just the way it is. And where I get really bugged, this has been going on now for 2 years. I don't know why this is. I don't know if they're all afraid. They seem afraid. I don't know if they're insecure. If you are, please ask me. If you keep me in confidence, I'll tell you. And I won't tell a soul. And it's like I get this thing of people aren't really running. They're running not to win, but not to lose. And I think it's the sequence of events is always the same kind of thing when this happens. This is a very serious thing. We're going to talk about a couple more this morning, too. And we break the story here, then normally somebody in a newspaper, kind of tries to do it and follows up with it. This is when, the political minds start focusing on that. And of course, they never credit us. We've discussed that. And then more often than not, these established sources either get part of it or get it wrong, or state-run media shames them into not doing it again. And the same thing is going to happen with this ARPA thing. And, and someone asked me last night, and they said, Tony, why do you do this? It's like you keep doing it. You don't get discouraged. I doubt my own sanity in a number of things. And the reason I do it is because this troubles me. Ned has been on a multi-level complex fraud scheme for just about the entire time he's been in office. And whenever somebody, wants to say, it's a no-bid contract, or it's a this or that, you really insult the intelligence of the Connecticut voter, the concerned citizen, anybody in a business, because you're really demeaning every single thing, or you're really discounting every single thing that this guy did and does. And I just think, we're at a point right now, we're really kind of standing on a fissure. And there's so many things that really need to be fixed, but if we can't fix really what is basic, corruption, for lack of a better term, we're going to be in serious trouble, or more so than we are right now. And frankly, that concerns me. And
it's just that same thought process, which is the frustrating one, which is just like people just shrug their shoulders and says, oh, well, it is what it is. Right? It's like, we're not going to do anything about it. It is what it is. You get
They're
that.
Stealing from your pocket, people. Exactly. Does that matter to you?
I guess not. I guess as long, like I've said this before, as long as folks are happy and satisfied with what they have, and no one really upsets that apple cart too much, I guess they don't care how much politicians steal from them, which is sad.
It absolutely amazes me. It's when this goes on, and when everything that runs from that happens, and all the situations. Look at crime. Look at the schools. Look at just about anything in this state. It all stems from, this is the tree from which the apples are falling from. That's my position.
All right, let's move on to, I don't want to go too long without getting into Bob's economic plan. You wanted to dissect that.
I studied this, and there are several good points in it. Now, again, it's my job on this show to call balls and strikes, as far as I'm concerned. I am a fiscal conservative in nature. I've probably voted for, people really want to know, I probably voted for 2 or 3 Democrats in my entire 50-year voting career, just about. But I studied this, the parts that are good. Relieving small businesses, the unemployment tax, that's good. The state constantly screws over business. Eliminating these ridiculous filing fees, yeah, that's good. But there are several things that are concerning to me and I feel need better explanations. And one is the truck tax. Now, that's well and good, eliminating it, but will this plan or will this party have the common sense and the courage to protect the use of diesel trucks and pledge to the citizens not to sign or enforce any legislation parallel to California AB 5, as we talked about a couple of weeks, because that is going to so cripple our supply chain. And, are we going to ensure the independent truckers' right to work? And if not, why not? Now, you've got a couple of loony birds in the state legislature who want to take everything and make it green. Now, of course, how the stuff gets there is by diesel truck. How are you going to deal with that? They don't really focus on that. So what will you do in order to do that in the Republican plan? I mean, that's critical. One thing I found very concerning, and I've got to say this, Bob's plan for, I think his heart's in the right place. The Community Fast Funds program, as far as having community banks lend money to businesses on a community level, and that seems wonderful, and maybe you're keeping the evil DECD out of it. We're going to talk about that next week, because I intended to do that for this show, but it's just it is too gory to give it a short take. But whenever, at least in the time I've been walking the earth, whenever the community banks have been involved in something on a, kind of like old buddy, old pal basis, what did it give us? Well, it gave us the S&L crisis in the 1980s, where TARP had to bail out all the properties. It gave us the Big Short, leading to the financial collapse. And it was always, that kind of whatever you want to call it, oh, this loan will be okay. And most recently, we had the Paycheck Protection Program, where a lot of the frauds come right down to the people who were issuing the loans. I mean, that was really a terrifying time in this practice. And I really want to know here, because if this is going to happen, who is bearing this risk? Is this another feel good where, the DECD keeps doing its DECD stuff? And, we all as taxpayers have got to bail out something again. I mean, honestly, truthfully, that does need to be better thought out. And it's the kind of thing that and how could I put it? Back to your person who really doesn't care. To the extent they're watching Ned has this wonderful thing of putting out a tweet, and he says, we're doing this for business, and we're creating these jobs here. Every single one of these things is a bribe deal. Every single one of these things is a cash handout. We'll talk more about this past week, but there was an article in the Hartford Courant about manufacturing in the state, and they mentioned, I think, 5 companies, 3 of whom I could see were getting direct state economic assistance. And, of course, the loan portfolio, they don't let you near that. So it's the kind of thing that Ned is giving a facade of doing something. And, what has to come from the Republican side has got to be better. It has to be better than that, because it's something like this. I look at it and I'm thinking, wow, the state of Connecticut's going to do something that helps small business. I'm immediately nervous, Lee Elci. I really am. But that's that was just my thought. Now, let me just say this. No matter what you do, no matter what kind of economics you propose, what is the COVID-19 plan? What is the COVID-19 protocol? If I'm going to borrow money, if I'm going to get my head and I'm going to start, beating my head against the wall to start a business and to grow something, how do I know the stupid state's not going to shut me down? And how do I know the same cast of characters that Ned had isn't going to still be in the picture? I mean, Virginia's bending over backwards to show that's not going to happen. So is Florida. What are we going to do here? I mean, that's kind of like the cloak way in the back. We're going to look at that and how that's all kind of, how could I put it, the scenery's being, shall we say, assembled for that as we speak. But you can't ignore that, because that is a very real concern to anybody wanting to either grow, run, or start a business here. What will you do to me once I do this?
So
look at what you did before. If
you were to give Bob one piece of advice moving forward, I mean, we still have, 4 months till almost 4 months, something like that, till Election Day. What would you like him to highlight, to clarify moving forward, if you could ask for one thing?
Well, you need to show a better business focus as far as putting money, the biggest thing, before we even get to that, show you will ensure the right of small businesses to grow in this state by, number one, ensuring transportation, ensuring the fact that you will keep diesel trucks operating, within the environmental regulations that are already there, and that you will not shut down small businesses due to COVID. And you will not, you will keep things running and operating. And the second thing is, you need to have a better, more focused, shall we say, assistance program. You might want to say, why is the state getting involved in assistance anyway, considering what DECD has done? That whole monster, that whole Megillah has got to be torpedoed, broken up and restarted, because it does absolutely, all it's really done, look at these bazillions of dollars, Lee Elci, we have spent, and, we're still, 49th? It's like, that doesn't tell you something is wrong.
Right. Agreed.
That would be my advice.
Okay.
And you could love me, you can hate me, but that's from what I'm seeing here. My little catbird seat.
Tony D'Angelo joins us every Tuesday. You can follow him on Twitter. I strongly recommend it. Tony D'Angelo 7. Did you want to wrap it up, or with my?
Yeah, we have our nice gentleman who sent us the email on the MYCTSavings plan. Which is the state forced retirement savings, and he wrote a great email, and he talked about an automatic 3% coming out. We had actually looked at this a few years ago, and in 2019 when it happened, and the mandatory kick-ins for participation are starting where he who is with a business of 5 or more people is getting 3% taken out of their wages and placed in a state fund, regardless of whether they want to or not, unless they opt out. There is an opt-out. I encourage everybody to opt out. Let the stupid thing collapse under its own weight. Here's the opt-out number, 1-833-811-7436. I'll repeat that. 1-833-811-7436. Now, I am not anti-saving for retirement. I am anti-putting your money with a Connecticut bureaucracy. And it's almost like, as far as I'm concerned, it's almost like your patriotic duty to make this thing collapse. But basically, they're investing in a series of mutual funds, and I pulled the performance on these things, and the markets have been, kind of iffy rotten anyway, but the average performance on these funds, which they are doing, they're target year funds that are supposed to pay off when somebody reaches a certain retirement age. The average return on these things since they started is like a negative 13.5%. Which is why you don't want to be in something like this, where you want to have the flexibility to move your money in and out should you see troubling economic times. And if you don't do anything, they will invest it for you. But look at it this way. This is the reign of Governor Ned Lamont. This is, the technological marvel that he is. We have another state bureaucracy. So guess what we have, Lee Elci? We got another Ned deal. The vendor for the financial processing of this is somebody or a concern known as Vestwell, and they're not really well rated. They're 3 out of 5 on Google. And how does Vestwell get to the fair? Well, Vestwell and Oak HCFT are partners in something known as IMMO, IMMO, and FinTech Collective and Oak HCFT are partners in something called IMMO, and FinTech Collective invests in Vestwell, and they also invest in Acrolis. So this is the old thing of, you lighten your partner's load with something, with somebody else's money, and they can invest more in your deal. And the last thing I'll say is this. When we're getting to what we really need to fix in the state, these things just kind of go on. If we don't talk about them on this show, nobody else ever seems to. How many more of these messes do we have to see? And when we first started, it's like, wow, this is amazing. This guy's an incredible crook. Now it's like, well, big deal, and it's an incredible crook. Well, there's always a pocket being picked somewhere, and I'm tired of having mine picked.
Well, so just really quick, because I'm out of time, but you're telling me that at what date are they going to start taking money out of people's checks for the automatic savings account?
Well, it depends on the size of your business. It started last June. Let me just get back to that particular page really quickly. The 3%, if you don't opt out, let's see, 100 or more employees, June 30th, 2022, 26 to 99, October 31st, 2022, 5 to 25, March 30th, 2023. And if you study this thing and you look at it, the plan doesn't even have it has a temporary commissioner who's a young lady. I read her qualifications. It's like, why are they going to do this well when they've failed and paid family and medical leave and every single other kind of thing? And this is the problem in Connecticut. These things go on, and people self-deal and take advantage, and the citizen suffers.
All right, we're going to have to go over this a little bit more because I'm a little bit confused on that next time. So whether or not that's
we will go through it in slower and specific. I'll lead off with that.